it's starting to rain heavily again. Ah! So I like control, but control is something that I haven't had much of over the last few months. So as soon as my neurosurgeon gave me the okay to start running again 2 months ago, I started running again. I started off with slow, easy runs, just building the mileage, but every week doing a little bit more. Oh, look at the sunrise over here. Growing my overall strength and stamina. Half marathon ready. So I could come back here to the Gold Coast on the east coast of Australia to try and run their fantastic and thankfully very flat half marathon. I wanted to try and take back a little bit of control for myself. (1°C here in Melbourne at the moment. This is my last run before the half marathon. Just keep the legs moving a little bit, just about 6k today, and then go home, quickly pack because we're heading up to the Gold Coast around lunchtime today, where it's going to be a lot warmer, hopefully. But it's predicted to be wet for the race this weekend, and I've not done a running race in the wet for many years. I'm actually hoping it's going to rain because I think it's really good practice for me. It's not good if you always do it in perfect conditions. Also, tailwind, because it's an up and down course on the Gold Coast, so you start at one place, you run north, and then you run south again. There's a southerly, which means that I've got a nice tailwind on the way up, but a headwind for the second half all the way down. So again, that'll be quite challenging. Morning, doggy. But it's a beautiful morning here in Melbourne, very fresh, very crisp. And we're gonna go run 6k. Oh dear, someone's gonna have cold hands today. Just doing little tippy toes so I don't slip on all the frost. I've not seen it like this in Melbourne in the mornings before. After finishing my last training run and earning Garmin's Frosty badge, it was time for me and my very supportive family to head up to the Gold Coast and to get this half marathon done. But as forecast, the weather when we arrived was... Alright, we're going to try and find our name.
There's 2 Drurys. Who's Nikki Drury, do you know?
I didn't know who Nikki Drury was, but if you're watching this, Nikki, I hope you had a good race this. All that was left was for me to pick up my race number from the convention and to try and get a good night's sleep before the very, very early start the next morning on race day. It's half marathon day, it's half marathon day. I'm surprisingly chirpy actually for someone who woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, who's currently walking through the rain. A little bit on the chilly side as well. This is the Gold Coast. This is the sunny spot in Australia where everybody comes for surfing and beach days and just catching up on their suntan. But it feels more like Melbourne today. Oh, and you can hear the wind as well in the background. It's quite breezy as well, but I feel really good. There was part of me that wasn't sure that I'd actually be here. So to know that I'm walking to the start line in another race is brilliant. I feel really good. I've just got to find the tram. The cool thing about the Gold Coast is they've got a tram service that runs up and down the coastline, and anyone who's running in any of the races this weekend can use the trams completely free. So I'm staying in a place called Broadbeach, which is sort of the southern side. It's below Surfers Paradise, if any of you know the Gold Coast. It's below there, and the race starts from the north side. So it's about a 25-minute tram ride to get up to the start line. But you don't need to have any sort of rail cards or anything like that. You can just show your number, hop on and off you go. sunrise that's happening behind me fool you into thinking that it's warm this morning. Everyone is soaking wet, but the atmosphere is brilliant. Everyone is just like laughing. We were standing in the queue for the toilets just now, and this huge downpour, probably the biggest of the morning, just came down and just soaked everybody, but no one seemed to care. Everyone is just here for the atmosphere and the fun of it, and I don't think anyone really cares what the weather's like, because at the end of the day, we don't control it. Anyway, I need to stop recording this and get to the start line because, yeah, there's about 6 minutes before the gun goes.
Seconds away from going. And they've taken off, so give them a big round of applause. Let's make some noise. 1, 2, 3. At the start line, so let's make some noise, Gold Coast.
Here we go. I started that race out feeling quite emotional, actually, realising the path I'd taken to get to the start line. But as each kilometre went on, it actually dawned on me that everybody on that road, well, they all had their own stories too. Some were running for loved ones that they'd lost. Some were running for charities. I saw blind runners, runners who needed assistance dogs, and thousands of other runners whose journey to the start line I'll never know, but I'm sure who were there for their own very personal and very important reasons. And knowing that, well, it not only put my own issues into context, it made crossing the finish line with everybody just so much more special. Because whatever the motivation was to get everybody to the start line that day, I think the very fact that everybody did turn up on that cold, wet, early start on a Saturday morning proves that yes, for today at least, we do still have control over the things we do with our lives.
And right now, if you're in the finish line area, you're hurt. Remember, you paid for this. You love it. This is your time to go.
Yes!
Brilliant, done. Just over 2 hours. Not bad at all for my first run back. I'm really happy with that actually, especially considering the conditions, and look, back on the start, finish straight, and it's raining again. Worth it though. If you are watching this and you did run at the Gold Coast Running Festival as well, a huge congratulations to you, and I sincerely hope that your shoes have dried out by now, because mine are still wet.